The last time I was in the capital was many years ago. Another wedding. My sister Elia and Rhaegar Targaryen, the last dragon. My sister loved him. She bore his children, swaddled them, rocked them, fed them at her own breast. Elia wouldn't let the wet nurse touch them. And beautiful, noble Rhaegar Targaryen left her for another woman.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Talking Thrones. Today I want to discuss one of the biggest misconceptions in all of Westeros, and how this is going to affect the upcoming season of Game of Thrones, which is the mysterious relationship between Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. Rhaegar Targaryen is the Mad King's son, and Lyanna Stark is Ned Stark's sister. And I'm assuming that every hardcore Game of Thrones fan is well aware of these two characters by now. But there are still some fans out there that aren't as familiar with everything that is surrounding these two characters. And to be honest with you, there isn't much information about this time period. And if you haven't read the books, then you know even less. Because the television show has only mentioned Rhaegar and Lyanna a few times. And there are only a few potential characters left in the show who may know the truth about them. This is one of the best kept secrets in Westeros. But before the Game of Thrones series ends, the truth will come out and it's going to send shockwaves across the Seven Kingdoms. From what we've seen in the television show, there is only one side of this story known throughout Westeros, which is sometime around 281 AC, Lord Walter Went held a tournament at Harrenhal, which was supposed to be the Super Bowl of all jousting tournaments. Everyone who was anyone was in attendance that day. Arthur Dayne was there, Barristan Selmy, Robert Baratheon, Hallan Reed, Benjen Stark, Ned Stark, and their sister Lyanna Stark. Littlefinger was even there, the Mad King was there, and his son Rhaegar Targaryen, who was also participating in this tournament. But before any jousting even took place, there was a feast to celebrate the start of the tournament, basically a pregame. During this feast, Rhaegar Targaryen started to sing a song that was heard by many. This song was said to have sounded so beautiful that it actually made Lyanna Stark break down into tears. Now this piece of information sets the stage and tone for the relationship between Rhaegar and Lyanna. This goes to show you that this man's voice alone can have an emotional effect on Lyanna Stark. But this was just the beginning. Over the course of several days, Rhaegar Targaryen starts to kick ass at this tournament, beating some of the most legendary fighters in the world. But keep in mind, this was just jousting, not sword fighting, but it was still very impressive nonetheless. Rhaegar eventually wins the tournament, and he takes the Winter Rose crown for the Queen of Love and Beauty, and he walks right past his wife, and he gives it to Lyanna Stark instead. This was a shocking act by the prince that stunned the crowd. During Season 5, Littlefinger tells Sansa that when Rhaegar won, the crowd erupted in cheers for their prince. But when he rode past his wife to give the crown to Lyanna, all the smiles in attendance died that day.
When Rhaegar won, everyone cheered for their prince. Remember the girls laughing when he took off his helmet and they saw that silver hair, how handsome he was. Until he rode right past his wife, Elia Martell, and all the smiles died. I've never seen so many people so quiet.
But Rhaegar Targaryen gave zero fucks. His eyes probably lit up like wildfire when he got a scent of her wolf's blood. But the tourney of Harrenhal ended, and everyone went back to their lives. But the fire inside Rhaegar and Lyanna didn't die. And sometime after this, Rhaegar and Lyanna disappeared. And this is when the facts get fuzzy, and people of Westeros fear the worst. This is where the truth was hidden. Did Rhaegar kidnap and rape Lyanna, or did she go willingly? Was Rhaegar really in love with her, or was this just an evil act against the Starks? Unfortunately for Prince Rhaegar, everyone thinks he kidnapped her and repeatedly raped her. Robert Baratheon believes he raped her several times, and even Sansa Stark believes this lie.
How many tens of thousands had to die because Rhaegar chose your aunt?
Yes, he chose her. And then he kidnapped her and raped her.
In my opinion, this is not what happened, my friends. In Season 1, we see Ned's reaction to Robert's claim, and it speaks volumes.
Daenerys Targaryen has wed some Dothraki horse lord. What of it? Do we send her a wedding gift?
Knife, perhaps a good sharp one.
and a bold man to wield it.
She's little more than a child.
Oh. Soon enough, that child will spread her legs and start breeding.
Tell me we're not speaking of this.
Oh, it's unspeakable to you? What her father did to your family, that was unspeakable. What Rhaegar Targaryen did to your sister, the woman I loved. I'll kill every Targaryen I get my hands on.
You can't get your hands on this one, can you?
Robert Baratheon was so angry, and he didn't understand why Ned wasn't angry either, even after he reminded Ned that Rhaegar kidnapped and raped his sister. You know why Ned never got angry? That's because he knows the truth. He is one of the only people in the world who actually know the truth about the loving relationship between Rhaegar and his sister Lyanna. Ned didn't get angry because he knows for a fact that Rhaegar didn't kidnap and rape his sister. Ned spoke to Lyanna before she died. He knew she wasn't in any danger from Rhaegar. In fact, Rhaegar had one of the best swordsmen in history protecting Lyanna and his son, Jon Snow, the prince that was promised. And based off the information we know about Rhaegar Targaryen, there is no way someone should think that he is the type of man to do something like that. Even Barristan Selmy, who was one of the most noble men in history, had nothing but nice things to say about Rhaegar.
I was thinking about all the times your brother made me go with him down from the Red Keep into the streets of King's Landing.
Why?
He liked to walk among the people. He liked to sing to them.
He sang to them?
Yes. Rhaegar would pick a spot on the Hook or the Street of Seeds, and then he'd sing, just like all the other minstrels.
And what did you do?
I made sure no one killed him. And I collected the money. Well, he'd like to see how much he could make.
He was good.
He was very good. Viserys never told you.
He told me Rhaegar was good at killing people.
Rhaegar never liked killing. He loved singing.
And what did you do with the money?
Well, one time he gave it to the next minstrel down the street. One time he gave it to an orphanage in Flea Bottom.
Rhaegar Targaryen walked among the people and sang, and he gave money away to the orphanage. He was a man of the people. That doesn't sound like a man that kidnaps and rapes someone, at least not to me. Even in A Dance with Dragons, Barristan Selmy has a POV chapter, and in that chapter he was thinking to himself that Prince Rhaegar loved his lady Lyanna, and thousands died for it. He would think about that because it was the truth. And Lyanna Stark didn't want to marry Robert Baratheon. He already had a reputation for being a whore, and Lyanna knew that even marriage wouldn't change that. Who would want to marry someone that you couldn't trust? Daenerys Targaryen even had a vision at the House of the Undying, and during this specific vision, there is a dying prince with rubies flying from his armor, and he is whispering the name of a woman with his last breath. She is seeing her brother Rhaegar Targaryen at the Trident, and that was him whispering Lyanna's name, as Robert Baratheon smashes in his chest with his warhammer. He is whispering the name of the same woman that ultimately caused Robert's rebellion. Rhaegar loved Lyanna, and he was willing to die for her, and die he did. As of right now, everyone in Westeros has it wrong. Sansa is wrong for saying Rhaegar kidnapped and raped Lyanna, but the truth is about to come out. And Littlefinger may be one of only a handful of people that potentially know of this information. I know we all remember that look Littlefinger gave Sansa when she said Lyanna was kidnapped and raped. Littlefinger seems to know everything, and he was even there at the tournament when Rhaegar gave Lyanna the roses. Littlefinger's a very observant man. He can read people and their intentions pretty well. He probably saw the way Rhaegar and Lyanna was looking at each other and knew there was more than meets the eye. Even as a little kid, I bet he could tell it was one of those love at first sight type of moments. And this information is going to play a big role in Season 7. We've already seen multiple promos from Season 7, and in those promos we have seen the Crypts of Winterfell many times. Littlefinger knows the truth about Rhaegar and Lyanna, and he is on the verge of spilling the beans. We're about to learn so much more about this time period. George R.R. Martin even said on his blog that when the A Song of Ice and Fire series ends, we will know everything there is to know about Robert's Rebellion, which is why we aren't getting a Robert's Rebellion prequel. I think there's a good chance we could get a POV chapter of Lyanna or Rhaegar at the Tower of Joy, which will reveal all the answers we've been waiting for about their relationship. But in the television show, we're going to find this out through Littlefinger, Bran, Sam, and possibly even Varys. These are the four men that can potentially hold the truth. In the most recent Season 7 promo, they show a brief scene of Sansa standing in the crypts, and they show Littlefinger standing right at the entrance of the crypts. I think Littlefinger and Sansa may share another scene down here again, but this time Littlefinger's probably going to reveal to Sansa the correct version of the story, purposely to put a wedge between Sansa and Jon. I think Littlefinger might tell Sansa, you know what? Remember when I tried to get a reaction out of you by saying Jon was your half-brother? Guess what? He's not your half-brother at all. In fact, he's a Targaryen, and he has no right to Winterfell or the North. Now that would definitely get a reaction out of Sansa, and who knows what she might think then. Also, in the Season 7 trailer, there is a quick scene of Jon and Littlefinger down in the crypts. And in that scene, Jon grabs Littlefinger by the throat and slams him up against the wall. Now, why do you think Jon would do something like that? When I made my trailer breakdown video, I had two initial reactions to this scene. Jon grabbing Littlefinger by the throat must be because of something about Sansa or Jon's real parents. They are standing right next to Lyanna's statue, and I wouldn't be surprised if Littlefinger made some smartass remark to Jon that would make him question who his mother or father is. All of the Season 7 promos have been hinting at a major scene revolving around Jon, Sansa, Littlefinger, and the crypts. I think they keep showing us this for a reason, because Littlefinger is about to start dropping bombshells in Winterfell. Littlefinger knows Jon has dragon's blood, and Littlefinger is playing with fire and his ass is about to get burnt. Game of Thrones is about to reveal so much more about Rhaegar and Lyanna, and I can't wait to find out the rest of the truth. I think Littlefinger is going to start dropping bombs, Bran is about to start having visions at the tourney of Harrenhal, the battle at the Trident, or possibly even Rhaegar and Lyanna arriving at the Tower of Joy, and the conversations they had together. Whatever it is, it's going to be something big. Samwell Tarly is also at the Citadel surrounded by the world's history and possible secrets. There's no telling what all he might find out. George R.R. Martin said we're going to find out more about this time period, and I believe him. So comment below and let me know what you think. What do you think Jon and Littlefinger are talking about down in the crypts that causes Jon to grab him at the neck and slam him against the wall? What flashbacks do you think Bran will get next? I want to thank everyone for stopping by and watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and a big thanks to my Patreon supporters. I love all y'all, and I'll see you down below. Bye.